Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to be doing a video on a hook modification that we're going to do on, well, we're going to do it on bubble walkers today. You can do this modification on bubble walkers, any type of popper, walking baits, topwater bass baits that come with a couple of treble hooks. In part, I'm doing this video because of a ton of questions that I've gotten the last couple weeks. I have been fishing topwater baits and I've had some fish catches on some recent videos, and some of you guys really watch closely because you're watching close enough to tell that the hook is not a treble hook. So kudos to you guys that are paying that kind of attention. We're going to talk about taking the stock hooks, and we'll talk about bubble walkers again today, but any of your topwater baits, your popping baits, your walking baits. So we're going to take the treble hooks off and we're going to replace them with single hooks. I think it started in the world of saltwater fishing, especially when they're fishing for big fish. They found that they had a better hookup rate or a better landing rate when they're using single hooks rather than treble hooks. And that's kind of the moral of the story, is your landing rate on bigger fish. If you are around a lot of small fish, treble hooks can excel because the smaller fish don't have the girth and the weight when they get up there and start shaking their head to pull hooks out when they are maybe not embedded in the inside of the mouth. So a lot of times when you're hooking fish with treble hooks, you'll notice that they'll be hooked shallow or on the outside of the jaw, and as I said, the smaller fish you're going to land, but when you get that bigger fish on, they start shaking, they're going to pull those treble hooks out. And the theory of it is, if you have a bait with treble hooks and a fish is going to come up here, it's not always a big fish that's going to open its mouth and come up and grab the thing and, wrap its lips around it. You're going to catch that fish all the time. What generally happens though in Mother Nature, nothing it's not like when we go out to McDonald's and we grab a hamburger and we've got it in our hand and it's not moving, it's not trying to get away, and we want to take a bite of it. We know exactly where we want to bite that thing. Well, when a fish is coming up to a bubble walker or a moving bait, or in nature they're chasing a small bait or a frog, it's always moving, and they don't always have the advantage of just getting it in the right place. Sometimes they're going to come up, they'll hit it from behind, they'll hit it from underneath, they'll hit it from the side. Sometimes they'll come up and they'll turn on the bait and just slap at it to basically wound it and then come back and eat it. Well, the treble hooks impede that bait from actually going all the way into the fish's mouth. For instance, if my hand here is coming up and it's the mouth of a fish, and I'm opening up my mouth and I hit it just like this where I don't get the bait in, it's going to hook the treble hook into its lower jaw or the outside of the jaw before it gets the bait into its mouth. So what happens is it comes up, bam, it hits it like this, and you gotta, let's just say my thumb is the lower part of that fish's jaw, and it's hooked like this. You've got the fish on, you set the hook, I got him. What happens, it comes up, it jumps, it shakes this thing, and the bait does a little pendulum, and it pops that hook out, especially a big fish that could be over 3 pounds. And this is where this really excels, this single hook deal. I'll talk about how we set this up, the size of hooks you want, how to get those hooks set up. But before we do that, let's talk about some of the advantages of using the 2 single hooks. And we'll also talk about when the treble hooks shine, and we'll also talk about 1 treble hook in the front, a single hook in the back. But the advantages of using the single hook is, obviously, it's a lot less, it's a lot better in water like we have here on the Delta, where there's tules and there's lots of surface vegetation. It comes through surface vegetation much more easily than treble hooks, obviously. They don't foul. A lot of times these baits will turn around and the hook will foul on your line and you'll get it out there, it won't pop right. So it doesn't foul on when you're casting, or when you're popping it doesn't come back and catch on the line. It's much easier on the fish, especially when you're catching a lot of small fish out here. A lot of times treble hooks, they'll get caught on the outside and then you get a hook in the fish's eye. You'll get a hook in the gill. So single hooks are much easier on the fish. They're much easier on the fisherman. How many times, especially with these types of baits on a 10 or 12 inch fish, have we went down and grabbed the line or something, the fish comes up and does a little flop and you get a hook in your hand. Single hooks are much easier. You don't get as many hooks in your hands, and if you do get one in, they're much easier to pull out. So they're not only easier on the fish, but they're easier on the fisherman also. Another thing that I have found is that at low light periods, when you are catching a lot of fish and you want to stay on those fish, you don't want to take a lot of time getting them off your unhooked. That low light where you have a bunch of treble hooks and you're trying to get one out and you can't get it out because the other one's stuck in another place, and it's just so much quicker and more efficient when you have these single hooks. Fishing at low light, these things are just have a huge advantage. Two treble hooks do have their advantages. When you're fishing open water, and there's nothing for it to hang up on, treble hooks have an advantage. When you're fishing for smaller fish and the fish aren't actually ingesting it, they're coming up and slapping it, you're going to get a higher hookup percentage when you're using treble hooks. So the bottom line is, you fish in open water, a lot of small fish, you can stick with the treble hooks. If you're fishing for bigger fish and you're around a heavier cover, surface vegetation, go with the two inline hooks, the inline single hooks. And if you're just getting started, you have some doubts about how these hooks are going to do when it comes to hook ratio, try a single or a treble hook on the front, a single hook on the back. So you can modify these in several different ways. Now, what are we using? We're using what they call an inline single hook. And they call them inline because the eye of the hook here is in line with the hook. You can see that. The size of hook varies. A lot of these hooks come from Japan, and if you buy them online, you're going to get usually a smaller hook than what you think you're buying. So my suggestion is whatever treble hook comes on the bait, you want to use one size larger when you start modifying to a single hook. Just a general rule of thumb. So you want to use a little larger hook for a couple of reasons. One of them is because a single hook doesn't weigh as much as a treble hook, and you want to keep basically as close to the hook, the weight of the hooks, the same, so that you're not changing the action of the bait. The other thing is, because you have one single hook, you've got more gap on the hook, and they're just better at hooking fish. So the way that you want to hook these up is make sure that the hook that you put on the back is facing the back. The hook point to the back, hook point on the front is facing the front of the hook. If you turn this upside down, and by the way, you might have to fool around with the split rings. If you put it on wrong, pull it off and just turn it around on the split ring, and it'll turn the hook from this way to the proper position. So if you have this hook facing down like this, the back hook backwards, you're going to pick up a lot of vegetation. When it's like this, you pick up a lot less vegetation. And again, if this fish comes up and just grabs it, you're going to catch this fish on the roof of the mouth. The front one, if you turn this around, it's going to ride up into the body of the hook, the bait quite a bit, and it's not, you're going to lose your hook setting potential. So you want to have that hook to the front. Have it like this, you're going to get a good hookup ratio. You're going to land a lot of big fish. The other thing that I like about this is, instead of using a swing type of set when you have a treble hook, when they get this, you're going to still give them that 1 or 2 seconds to grab that bait and ingest it. But when you set the hook, you can really slam into it. And as these have it in their mouth, you're going to get one of these hooks that are right up in the roof of the mountain. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, you're on some. There we go.
Baby, that's a fish. I'll take that one. That's a fish. Holy moly. Wow.
See how that one did the job?
Wow. That's...
So give this a try. I think you're going to like it. Let me know how you like it, or if you're having problems, hit me up with a question in the remarks, and I'll try to get back to you, and we'll try to figure out why you're not catching fish on this single hook application. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the river. Good luck.